Welcome to the meeting place, a space where heart centered, heart driven women gather to connect, share, and inspire one another to awaken their joy and live a fulfilled life. I'm Michelle O'Neill, your life architect and boundary catalyst, and I empower amazing women just like you to overcome life's challenges and achieve the fulfillment that you deserve, absolutely deserve. And I specialize in helping the sandwich generation thrive, balance personal growth, legacy connection creation, and meaningful connections. Let's get together and collaborate to enhance your unique identity and unlock your potential for a purposeful and abundant life. I am so excited to be here with you today because today we're going to embark on a heartfelt journey exploring how we can lovingly and gently and patiently guide our aging parents through the world of technology. Now, I did promise you before that I will be doing several different aspects of introducing AI and technology into the lives of our aging parents so that not only their lives are enriched and better, but your life is better too because it saves time, it allows them to be more independent. And I want to show you just how, but I want to look at the this side of it where we're talking about how it affects us emotionally and psychologically. So we'll be diving into the emotional aspects of the journey and how that we can transform our challenges and their challenges into opportunities for growth and connection. So, with that said, let's come together. Come on, are you ready? And embrace this chance to deepen our relationships with our aging parents and empower them, actually empower them with the incredible tools that technology has out there to offer, right? And I know everybody isn't tech savvy. So I'm talking to you who are not tech savvy. All you have to do is be one step in front of your parent. And sometimes them parents know more than we do, don't they? So the first thing I want to do is talk about embracing patience, embracing, whoo, can't talk, get excited. You know what happens, but embracing patience and empathy. And this is actually the cornerstone, the actual building stone, the cornerstone to our tech education, because that's all this is. We are educating our parents on technology so that they can be more independent and feel better about what's going on in life around them. So, I want to really dive in on patience and empathy and navigating that digital maze. It's actually a shared journey with our parents. It's not something that we just shove out there and put them on, or something that we're on and we're dragging them behind us, right? We're their guides. We're helping them to understand this new language. I remember saying once before that what this is, and let me make sure, okay, what this is actually is almost like learning a new language. And so to do so, we need to lean on our inner strengths, and we're going to call them patience and empathy. Listen, if this is your first time here, forgot all about that. If this is your first time here, go ahead and put in the comments hashtag newbie. If you've been here before, go ahead and put in the comments hashtag legacy. I am so thrilled that you are able to be here with me live. And if you're not here live, go ahead and put in hashtag replay. Tell me who you are, where you're from, so I can give you a shout out. And I am so glad that you're here today. So we remember, okay, quiz number one. What are our inner strengths? It's just two, right? Patience and empathy. And so we want to understand first the challenges that may come up, or the challenges that they're dealing with. Well, with our parents, technology can seem like an alien world to them. And it's like Remember watching Lost in Space? Oh, I know that's way before your time, and you probably go look it up on YouTube. But when we used to watch all these space shows, and it looked so like way out in the future and could never happen. But go look at some of the what are my favorite? Jean-Luc Picard, the not Star Wars, Star Trek. Go look at some of the Star Treks now. And I bet you some of the things they were doing now, we have the ability to do now. And so it isn't so far-fetched as you thought. But you have to remember, our parents in many ways were pioneers themselves, that they have done things that and adapted and changed to big things in their lives. So it's not like they haven't done this before. And maybe just bringing this back to their memory. Hey, remember when you got through this, when you got through the depression, when you got through whatever it is that they traveled through, when you got through the 60s and the Vietnam War time, when you got through all that, remember that you made it through, you pushed through. When you were part of the Civil Rights Act, and you went ahead and marched and stuff, you made it through. You stood up for something that was important to you. And if you can do that, you can do this. This is just something new that you have to learn, and you have to be willing to learn it. So the first question to ask is, are they willing? Is it something they want in their lives? And maybe just taking that time to explain to them the difference it could make, the independence that it would give them, a simple thing of knowing that, hey, if mom, if I taught you this app, if I showed you this, you wouldn't have to depend on wondering when the next time is to take your medication. You wouldn't have to worry about if you told us what was going on your doctor's appointment. This app, just by speaking into it, will tell us and let you know when the next time. It will actually remind you when your next time is to take your medicine, and tell you which medicine or which pill to take. Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't it be so much easier for you? And then show them. But the thing is, we have to educate them as well as show them. Don't just push new technology on them. Educate them on how it would change their lives, how it would benefit our lives. You wouldn't want to do anything new. Let's get real. You wouldn't want to do anything new in your life if someone didn't share with you first the benefit, why you want to do it, and how it will enhance your life. And so I'm saying, dealing with our parents with this love and this compassion and this patience and this empathy will go a long way. Remember, I said it is the cornerstones. So there are actual strategies for developing patience. I want you to think of patience as a serene lake. And even though the winds of frustration blows and is bubbling under the surface, you need to be able to keep the surface calm. And just by reflecting on understanding and reassurance and practicing empathy, you're able to lead in this dance and this gentle moving rhythm of comfort and compatibility. But remember, it's a dance and you're the lead, but it's never a good dance unless you're moving together. And so you want to look, patience and empathy, you may not have them, but they can be cultivated. It's something you can learn. It's not something that automatically is there. It's a skill, and it's a skill that you can learn even if it doesn't come natural. I know everybody doesn't have empathy, but you can learn empathy. A lot of people say you can't, but I say you can. So empathy is like reflecting their struggles and their fears, and actually tapping into what those struggles and fears of overwhelm when facing something new feels like. And you have been through facing something new. You've been put in a new job where you weren't even sure if you could take on the responsibilities, if you knew what you needed to know, if you were any good at it, or you started doubting whether you were good at it. So you know what it feels like to take on something new. You know what it feels like when you get a new appliance or something in your home, and you're like, you first start with it and you're like, look, this is just too hard. If I got to do all this to turn my TV on, you know what? Just give me the automatic remote. I turn it on and off and the channels. I'll pay for cable, whatever it is. But you've been through it. So what you have to do is reflect back on those feelings that they're feeling now. Somewhere in your life, you have felt them before. And it's like, what did that feel like? What was I experiencing? And know that right now, that embarrassment of not knowing how to do it, feeling like they should have been able to grasp it, that overwhelm of, I can't figure this out. This is foreign. This is totally different. All of that is the emotions and the feelings that they're dealing with, and you have dealt with them before. That's what empathy is taking those feelings that you understand that they're feeling and that you have experienced, and putting them together so that you can understand what they're dealing with. And so I want to give you some actually actionable tips. Yay! For incorporating patience and empathy. I want you to break down those lessons, make them small, make them um, in bite-sized bites. And then one of the things we can do, one of my favorites, is celebrate the small victories with a high five or a fist bump or a little dance, whatever it is, that they've grasped this new concept and that you were able to put it in a way that they could understand it and grasp it. So hey, we got this. Yes, those are things that you can do. And listen, this isn't just for our parents. If you're a techie person, if you're a person that totally a IT person that totally understands tech, and it just you permeate it, you understand it, and you're talking to someone, even a young someone that doesn't understand what you're talking about because of your lingo and stuff, understand these same principles will work for you too, and help you be less frustrated, and that person on the other end of the line be less frustrated when they talk to you. So celebrate your small victories. Also, what I thought was really cool is to come up with a time capsule. And all I'm saying is get a little book. You can do the little military green book if you want to, or some little book that you got on the checkout line on the way to Ross or TG Maxx or whatever. But get you a special little tech book and talk about, well, what bothers you here, mom? Why do you feel uncomfortable with it? What frustrates you about this? And then you record those things. And then when you look at them later and you see, mom, like my mom, she has taken over the emoji world and the gift world. She knows how to find them and she knows how to get the right ones she wants. And say, mom, remember when you couldn't even go to messages? And now you're all in messages. Not only are you typing or texting your messages, but you're putting gifts and emojis to go along with it, and show them their growth and how fast they grew. But those are great things. There is power in patience and empathy. Patience and empathy are our beacon of sanity. And for me, absolutely, I could fall into that well or that void of frustration, but then when empathy just pulls me back, and it's like, uh you've been here before, girlfriend. And I remember that's not the way I want someone else to feel. And so it helps us navigate that journey. It transforms us into better teachers and more compassionate listeners. And it helps us build that deeper connection with our loved ones. And I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be just you. Your kids can get in on the game too. In fact, may be more patient with their grandparents than you are. So make it a family. In fact, You may learn a thing or two, just new way of doing something that your child knows that, hey, you didn't even, oh, you can do it that way. I didn't know that. And so this is a great opportunity for growth, not only for you and your parent, but for your family. We are the guides, and being the guide and being that guide, we illuminate the path through that digital maze that I talked about earlier. It's not about teaching technology, it's about growing together. It's about enhancing your relationships and celebrating the journey step by step. I'm not telling you to just get up and run with it, because you're both going to be frustrated and you're going to have some skin knees along the way. But one step at a time, and then finding out where they are and meet them where they are in the place of where they are. And so, how do we navigate these frustrations together? How do we turn these challenges into opportunity? And I truly believe that every challenge is an opportunity to make a difference, an opportunity to impart in someone's life. So I want to talk about our tech journey and how we're going to encounter a bunch of bumps and roadblocks and maybe even some brick walls, because they're not going to want to learn everything you think that's good for them. So you need to be in tune and listen to what they're open to and what they're not, and make adjustments accordingly. Don't push something on someone that they don't want. You wouldn't want anyone to push something on you that you don't want. In fact, I can best believe that's one of your biggest frustrations, when someone tries to make you do something that you don't want to do, right? Hey, give me a amen in the comments if that's true. But what if we looked at these frustrations not as obstacles, but as an opportunity for growth and understanding and connection? That's what we're talking about today. How to move forward with our parents and incorporate our kids with compassion, patience, and empathy. And so we want to understand some of the most common frustrations. Things like understanding different interfaces. One of the things that comes up for me um, is my parents. They have Android and I have an iPhone, and they think because I have a cell phone that every cell phone acts the difference, and I should know how to operate their Android. But if I'm not on an Android every day, I've got to do the same thing that they could do, but I probably understand it better. So I have no problem doing it. So I look it up and refamiliarize myself on how to do that thing on the Android. So understanding the differences and explaining, hey, this is an Apple phone, mom, or this is an Apple phone, dad, and this is an Android, and they're totally different. I'll even go as far as to say they have different operating systems, but you don't need to know what an operating system is. But just if you hear it again, these two have different operating systems, and they're different. And then another big frustration is forgotten passwords. If you're anything like my mom and my mother-in-law, they like to write things old school. Write your password down. And what's the number one rule that they say when you have passwords? Do not write your passwords down. But how are you supposed to remember it? I can't even remember all my 50 million passwords. And everything you do today, you have to have a password, even for your doctor portal, for your bank, and this bank. And none of them can be the same, because if they're the same, if someone can hack into one, someone can hack into another. And this is too much information. So give them an app and teach them how to use something like LastPass. Now there are different ones. There's one like Password. There are different apps that will safely keep your passwords. And so that's what I encourage you to do is to introduce them to one of those apps and how to use it. And I had to check, make sure I was on. But how to use that app and explain it to them. And then make sure you, as the guide, show them how to make sure everything's working correctly. Explain how it's supposed to work, but you may have to set it up first. You may have to set it up and explain. And then if they say, hey, this is too complicated, I can't do it this way, then don't force them to do it. Maybe if that's something they want to do, they may want to turn that over to you and say, you know what, I'm not gonna, you keep my passwords, but I'll be calling you and asking you what it is, but make it beneficial for them. And so those are some of the most daunting things, and right now, that our parents deal with. No one had to remember all these passwords before. But the thing about apps like LastPass and Password and all these other ones is there's only one password you have to remember. And it better be a good one. But if you remember that password, you can have access to your other passwords. So that's one of my first things that I would suggest, that you do your research. I am not a doctor, I'm not an IT professional, but do your research. Be vigilant and find out the best app that may work for them to help them store their passwords. If that is something that, after you explain it and they understand it, that is good. And then the art of problem solving together. That is so much fun and frustrating. It can be deeply frustrating. But the thing is, if you don't fix it together, then they're always depending on you and calling you. So at least teach them, and teach them well. And then if they have to call you again because they don't remember, that's good. But at least they're, and then sometimes you say, remember, oh, yeah. Okay. And sometimes they're just calling you because they want to talk to you and you haven't called them in a whole week. And so what I'm saying is, let them get involved in the process. It's like cooking together. How much fun is that? Doing a pizza night where you all making different types of pizza, and you taste each other's pizza and you say, ooh, that was nasty. And you're laughing about it. It was so much fun together. So that's what you can do with learning tech together. You want to turn those frustrations into opportunities, Every frustration is an opportunity to learn. It's a moment to connect. And so I want to give you a few actionable steps. Remember, I'm always giving you actionable steps for navigating your frustration. Doing things like creating, with that same notebook, you can do it on that. It's starting a tech problem diary. Take the second half of that notebook and just put, every time you have a tech problem, what the solution was. Because you can best believe you may come across it again and you're not going to remember what you did because it was so long ago. And so keeping a little problem diary, and what you did and what she did and how you finally solved it and what the solution was, that is gold. Gold, gold, gold. So don't forget to keep a tech problem diary. Also, this is a good one. Create time out, or time out ritual. What do I mean? Look, if you're like me, tech can really make you frustrated. And so what I'm saying, in that point, at that time, hey, let's just step away from the computer right now. I'm getting frustrated. I'm not sure what to do. You're wanting it fixed, and let's do something. Let's go have some tea and just talk, or let's go get some ice cream. Be bad girls together. Whatever it is. But take a time out. When the frustrations start getting high, when your tolerance is low, it's time to step away. Step away from the computer. And that's what we have to do. So have a built-in, you may even have a signal for when it's time, when you do this, it means it's time to step away from the computer, because you're both getting frustrated and tempers rise, and it's time to talk, to move away. But the thing is, Frustrations will arise all the time. But remember, every challenge that we face is a bonding opportunity. It's a chance to grow, to laugh, to create memories, to learn. And so look at it that way. Remember, develop your two friends. What are they? Patience and empathy. And let's celebrate those challenges and not dwell on the roadblocks. Listen, we're not just navigating technology, we're creating a roadmap of shared experiences. And so we want to turn every opportunity that we have, every frustration that we have, into a story of growth, of opportunity, of victory. Your high five, your fist bump, whatever. We can turn any challenge into part of our joyful journey together as we move to that next shift in life. But before I go, I want to talk about the final point, and that's the role of boundaries in our technology education. You know, boundaries are so key to every aspect of our lives. And so many times we think that boundaries only work here or there, but boundaries are important even with technology. Boundaries, let me get it clear for you. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guidelines to help us maintain balance and foster mutual respect. This is an adult that you're talking to. That's your mama, that's your daddy. And so treat them with respect. So when it comes to tech education and setting boundaries, it is key to ensuring that we don't become tech fixers, because that's not helping anything in the long run, but that we remain tech guides. We want to guide them through the process, through the learning process, the independence of being able to do it themselves and knowing when it's time to stop. Me, I'm a techie girl, but I know when it's time to call Dell or whoever and say, hey, you need to fix my computer. And that's all. We're teaching them when to take on the responsibility themselves and try to fix it, and when to call you. When it's time to say no mas, no mas. And so we have to understand the need for boundary. It's easy to fall into that trap of becoming the go-to tech girl. And I'm the one that most of my family call, hey, this happened. And I am the first to say, hey, I don't know. I'll look it up for you. Or you may need to call your computer guy, or you may need to call. I'm not the be all, fix all when it comes to computer. I just understand a little bit more than most because I love working with computers. And so what you want to do is stop trying to fix every issue. Know when to send them to someone. In fact, get on the phone with them when they have to call the computer company and navigate them through that call, the questions to ask, the things to say. And they're more than willing probably to turn it over to you and say, you know what, you talk to them. But they want to hear, they still want to be a part of it. And they may even have questions for you when they get off the phone. What did he mean by operating system? What did he mean by the Windows window in the corner? Where's that? What's that? You know, what did he mean by control panel? Why you have to go to control panel? And what's there? You know, mom, don't be clicking around in that control panel. But whatever. But so you want to empower our parents to become confident and independent and navigating the tech world. So it's so important to include them on it, and setting healthy boundaries is part of that. It's about striking a balance between being there for support and encouraging independent problem solving. Trying to know when it's time to hold them and when it's time to fold them. I'm hearing Kenny Rogers in my ear now. You got to know when. Okay, sorry. Just got off beat a little bit there. But it's not about stepping back. but it's about stepping together. It's you teaching them the process, and you walk side by side through it, that phone call with them. You sitting there in a chair beside them, and instead of you doing all the clicking and the stuff, you sit there in your chair, getting in my chair, and you watch them do it. Okay, click the mouse on the thing to the right, the little thing that has the ring around it. Okay, click that. Okay, that's a whatever it is. Say what it is so they can remember it. And then say, okay, that's where you go when you need whatever. That's teaching them. That's walking alongside them and not abandoning them to the tech world. It encourages independence. Independence is the ultimate gift that we can give our parents in this digital journey. And it's not about leaving them to fend for themselves. They understand the value of learning how to do something yourself. And so it's about equipping them with the confidence to explore, to learn, to grow. And as they explore and learn, just understand that there are times that they're going to go somewhere they shouldn't be. And just have that empathy and patience to walk through that journey again and share with them why that's not a good place to experiment in. You know, as with everything, I now have actionable steps for setting boundaries and actually helping them foster that independence. You want to establish something like a tech empowerment hour, and it's a dedicated time to learn and explore together. You know, if they're living with you, then you set a time maybe once a week that you get together and you whatever questions they and encourage them. Hey, remember we have empowerment hour. Why don't you write down? Even my mom, when I go visit her, I say, Mom, any questions you have, anything you need me to do, write it down, and she makes a list. So when I get there, I have the list, and we're not waiting till the last minute to do everything she needs me to do on the computer. That we do it then. If she needs me to show her how to do something, I keep having problems. I can't get my images to send on my phone. Then it's on the list and it's one of the things that we go over. But establish something like a tech empowerment hour. Even if it's on the phone on Zoom and you can share your screen or share your phone screen and stuff like that. Use technology to help you help them. And so doing things also remember I talked before when you get frustrated or things really start or when they really need your help, come up with a sign or a key what do they call it? Safe word to use at that time. Maybe you have two. One when they really need your help, that is not something like how to make an emoji jump around or how do I get those new avatars on my phone, but something serious like my phone's not my phone's not ringing. I can't hear it ring. You know, and explain the difference. One's a necessity. If you want to use the phone, you got to hear when it rings, right? But putting emojis on your email, not so important. Even though it's fun, but it's not important. Look, there is power in boundaries, and it creates independence for them. Setting boundaries isn't about distancing ourselves from our parents. It's about fostering the independence that they need and that mutual respect that I just talked about. It's about transforming ourselves from text fixers to a text guides. We want to help guide them through this new phase of their life. As we make this shift ourselves, it's different. And I invite you to use all your resources, your kids, your community, your senior citizens. You don't have to be the one to step in. You may not even be tech savvy, but your kids probably are. or they probably do classes at the senior center. So it doesn't only fall on you. Or there's probably even courses right there on Udemy online, and they can watch. In fact, why don't you watch it with them, right? But there are other ways to empower them. Tech is here to stay. And just like they had to learn to use the stove or use the washing machine or use the microwave, that's one that's new in their age. Even like they have to use the air fryer. And when it comes to eating, they learn these things, right? Teach them how to use other tech things to simplify and enhance their lives. Remember, we're not just teaching technology, we're empowering them. We're empowering our parents to become confident and independent in this digital world. So we have to set our boundaries. We have to say when we're not available. We have that safe word or that special word that says when it's something important or when it's something that can wait. We have that list of having that empowerment hour. In the meantime, they can write. Those are boundaries. Those are good boundaries. Together, we're not just navigating this digital world. We're shaping a future where we can explore. And we can explore it confidently together and on our own. Look, I have finished. I have given you so much. Tell me what stuck out most to you. What really resonated to you with today's message? I love talking about this. Is there something else that you particularly want me to discuss as the sandwich generation, as dealing with both generations, the children? What about the kids and the teenagers? Are there anything special that you're dealing with there? Are you still struggling with understanding what your purpose is, what makes you different, how you're unique, and how you use that in your life, how you show up authentically, and still do that while you take care of your parents and your kids? How do you find you? If you need help with that, oh, my beautiful souls, this is our shared journey towards digital empowerment before purposeful empowerment. It all works together. But today, remember, we're not just teaching a skill, we're fostering patience, understanding, compassion, love, empathy. So many wonderful, wonderful qualities. It's not about what you do, but who you are, how you show up in this world. We are transforming our lives and the challenges in our lives as opportunities to grow, to learn, to be, and to create memories along the way. I encourage you to embrace this journey, to become a patient guide, an empathetic listener, and a boundary setter. Don't forget that one of the most important. Let's guide our parents and our kids to a place where they can navigate and help each other and navigate this digital world with confidence, but also with curiosity. Curiosity is a great way to experience life. Now I challenge you this week. I want you to start applying just one. I gave you a lot. One of these strategies we discussed today. And it can be setting up your tech empowerment hour, or it can be starting a tech problem diary. Whatever it is, use what you have in your home. Or it could be even designing your own or coming up with your own unique SOS, your safe word. But share your experiences with me and others and your victories. Share them with us in the comments below. Or even yet, join our Purposeful Living community, my Facebook group, and share it with women who are like-minded, just like you, and on this journey to purposeful living. Let's support each other on this journey. And remember, we are in this together, growing, learning, and transforming one step at a time. And today, one tech step at a time. Listen, if you'd like to have a deeper conversation, if you'd like to know more about how I can help you, go ahead and just say, call me. And I'll give you the information so we can set up a time for a conversation so that we can talk and get you on the journey to transforming your purposeful life and live a purposeful life each day. Until next time, thank you for being with me. Thank you for growing with me. Take care. Bye bye.